Sometimes luxury creates icons. Other times it creates cameras nobody really asked for. And the Leica Q3 Monochrom might just be one of them. While everyone else is chasing more megapixels, faster autofocus, and brighter colors, Leica is betting that photographers want less. Less color, less distraction, more soul. But in a world where your smartphone can shoot stunning black and white with a single tap, does a $6,000 monochrome camera make any sense at all? You're watching Alt Buzz, where we go beyond the rumors to uncover what really matters. If you love honest takes on cameras that challenge the status quo, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Today, we're diving deep into the most polarizing camera rumor of 2025. For over a decade, Leica has been the guardian of something most camera companies abandon: the art of pure monochrome photography. Their monochrome cameras strip away color entirely, not through software tricks or post-processing magic, but at the sensor level itself. No Bayer filter, no color interpolation, just pure, unadulterated light captured in its most elemental form. The philosophy is seductive. In an age of oversaturated Instagram feeds and artificial intelligence-enhanced colors, Leica argues that true photography begins when you remove the distraction of color altogether. Their previous monochrome cameras, from the original M monochrome to the M10 monochrome, have cultivated an almost religious following among photographers who believe that black and white isn't just a style choice, but a spiritual discipline. But here's the question that keeps me awake at night. In 2025, when computational photography can simulate any aesthetic imaginable, when Lightroom presets can transform your colorful RAW files into stunning monochrome masterpieces, is a dedicated black and white camera still relevant? Or has Leica created the ultimate solution to a problem that no longer exists? Before you fall in love with the idea of pure monochrome, let's ask the real question. Who is Leica building this camera for? The whispers started months ago in the shadowy corners of photography forums and leaked patent documents. The Leica Q3 Monochrom, if the rumors prove accurate, would marry the beloved Q3 platform with the monochrome sensor technology that made the M10 monochrome a cult classic. Picture this: the same elegant, minimalist body as the standard Q3, the same buttery smooth 35mm Summilux lens that costs more than most people's cars, the same intuitive controls that make every adjustment feel like a deliberate creative choice rather than a technical necessity. But inside, where it matters most, a sensor stripped of its ability to see color, capturing light in a way that promises to reveal the soul of every subject. The expected price tag? Somewhere between $6,000 and $6,500. That's roughly $2,000 more than the standard Q3, all for the privilege of seeing the world in shades of gray. Industry insiders suggest a potential announcement in the spring, following Leica's pattern of releasing monochrome variants roughly 18 to 24 months after their color counterparts. The timing makes sense from a business perspective. Give the Q3 enough time to establish its market dominance, then offer the monochrome as the ultimate upgrade for photographers seeking something more exclusive. On paper, it sounds compelling. Exclusive, almost romantic in its dedication to photographic purity. But exclusivity doesn't always equal necessity, and that's where this story gets complicated. Because when you step back and examine what the Q3 monochrome actually offers, a troubling question emerges. Is this a revolutionary tool for serious photographers, or just another luxury accessory for people who collect cameras instead of creating with them? Luxury doesn't always solve problems. Sometimes it just creates them. And the Leica Q3 Monochrome might be the perfect example of this paradox. Let's be brutally honest about what you're actually getting for that extra $2,000. Yes, the monochrome sensor will theoretically provide better tonal separation, smoother gradations, and slightly improved low-light performance compared to converting color images to black and white. But we're talking about marginal improvements that only the most trained eyes could distinguish in real-world conditions. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You could buy a standard Q3, shoot exclusively in RAW, and convert every single image to monochrome in post-production. The results would be virtually indistinguishable to 99% of viewers, including most professional photographers. You'd save $2,000 and retain the flexibility to occasionally capture color when the moment demands it. So who is this camera really for? The working photographer shooting weddings every weekend? Probably not. They need the versatility of color, the safety net of options, the ability to deliver what clients expect. The enthusiast photographer exploring their creative voice? Maybe, but they could achieve the same artistic vision for significantly less money. That leaves us with a fairly narrow audience. Collectors who value exclusivity over practicality, Leica loyalists who view every new monochrome as a holy grail, and perhaps a small group of artists who genuinely believe that hardware limitations fuel creative breakthroughs. But here's where the cynical analysis starts to break down. Because dismissing the Q3 Monochrom as merely a luxury toy ignores something fundamental about how photographers actually create their best work. Sometimes the cameras that seem the most impractical on paper become the most transformative in practice. Before we write off the Q3 Monochrom as an expensive gimmick, let's acknowledge something that spec sheets and price comparisons can't capture. The psychological impact of creative constraints. When you pick up a camera that can only see in black and white, your entire approach to photography changes. You're no longer distracted by vibrant colors or seduced by golden hour light. Instead, you're forced to see in terms of texture, contrast, emotion, and story. The limitation becomes liberation. Professional photographers who've worked with previous monochrome cameras describe an almost meditative quality to the experience. Without the option to rely on color as a compositional crutch, every frame demands intentionality. Every shadow and highlight carries weight. Every decision feels more deliberate, more meaningful. The images themselves tell a different story too. Leica monochrome files have developed something of a cult following among black and white enthusiasts, not just for their technical excellence, but for their emotional depth. There's a quality to the tonal transitions, a richness to the shadows, that seems to transcend mere technical specifications. Consider some of the most iconic black and white photographs of the past decade. Many were captured on Leica monochrome cameras, not because the photographers couldn't afford color alternatives, but because they chose the discipline of monochrome as a creative philosophy. In a world obsessed with more megapixels, more features, more options, there's something profound about a camera that offers less distraction, less choice, more focus on what actually matters: light, shadow, story, soul. Sometimes the cameras nobody asked for are the ones that change how we think about photography. The question isn't whether the Q3 monochrome makes logical sense, but whether it makes creative sense. So where does this leave us with the Leica Q3 monochrome? Somewhere in the fascinating gray area between luxury indulgence and artistic tool, which is exactly where Leica has always operated. If you're approaching this decision purely from a practical standpoint, the math doesn't work. You could achieve similar results for less money with virtually any modern camera and decent post-processing skills. The Q3 monochrome isn't solving a technical problem that couldn't be solved more affordably elsewhere. But photography has never been purely about practical decisions. It's about inspiration, emotion, and the intangible connection between photographer and tool. For some creators, the Q3 monochrome will represent the ultimate commitment to their artistic vision. For others, it will seem like an expensive solution to a problem that doesn't exist. If you're a creator chasing the Leica look, the Q3 monochrome might tempt you. The brand cash is real, the build quality is exceptional, and the images will likely be stunning. But for most of us, it's more of a statement piece than a practical upgrade. The real question isn't whether the Q3 monochrome is worth its inevitable price tag, but whether you're the kind of photographer who thrives on creative constraints or prefers creative flexibility. Neither answer is wrong, but only one will lead you toward this particular camera. What do you think? Is the Leica Q3 monochrome an icon in the making, or just another luxury nobody asked for? Are you drawn to the discipline of monochrome-only shooting, or do you prefer keeping your creative options open? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown of photography's most polarizing rumor, subscribe to Alt Buzz for more honest takes on cameras that challenge conventional thinking. You can also support the channel with super thanks or by joining our membership program. Until next time, keep questioning the hype and stay creative.